Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking. This is our weekly public speaking masterclass where we pull back the curtains and talk about all kinds of different advanced techniques when it comes to public speaking. And today is no different because today is a very, very special topic, and that is how to keep your speaker body in tip-top shape. How to keep your speaker body in tip-top shape. You see, a lot of people don't talk about this. They, don't say anything. And I'm not talking about whether your weight or whether you're overweight or underweight. I'm not talking about that. I am strictly talking here about energy. I am talking about stamina. How do you keep the stamina up? Because when you do 1 hour of speech, it is like working an 8-hour day. You might want to write that down. That's how much energy and just vibrancy it takes. The more you have, the better it is. Now, when I was doing years ago in 2006, excuse me. Okay, somebody's trying to call me. In 2006, I did an event called Speak Your Way to Wealth. How many of you have heard of that event? I know, yeah. All right, so that was my very, very first multi-speaker event, and that's where I got to share the stage with a lot of the big names. They're going to call me. I bet you it's about tomorrow. Hold on. Hi, this is Arvee. Thank you. All right. So thank you. In 2006, I did an event called Speak Your Way to Wealth. And I remember that after 3 days of being on stage and being on, thank you, being on, I was spent. I mean, it was as if I ran a marathon, which I did. And my business partner, he would be ready to go out to dinner with friends and family and talk, and he was all up, and he was 10 years older than I was. And I never could figure out why and how he could do that. And every year we put it on, by the third day, I mean, I'm talking about, I'm so spent, I don't have a lick of energy in me. I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling like I could drop, that kind of thing. And I thought it was perfectly normal. Well, of course, I spent 3 days, right? Now, this is 2006. For those of you mathematical geniuses, how many years ago was that? How many? 14? How many?
15.
15 years ago. Okay. So then shortly after that, 5 years later, I started running marathons, right? And I would go 8 miles and I would have that same feeling that I was spent. I would schedule massages and fall asleep. I know Jackie's probably laughing like, what? I would schedule massages so that I could get a massage, right? 8 miles. Now I got 26. I mean, I got 18 more to go, right? Well, during that time, because I was so tired, so spent, I as God would have it, a nutritionalist became one of my clients. And so as she was talking about nutrition, I was, of course, listening. And so I said, well, I'd like to get some tests. Now, I thought I had all the energy in the world. I thought, I'm the Energizer Bunny, right? You see me now? Well, I was like that. It just ran out very quickly. So she did tests and all this. And lo and behold, we found out that my body was cannibalizing itself. I wasn't getting the right nutrition. I wasn't taking vitamins. I wasn't eating enough protein, whether or not it's from meat or whatever. I wasn't eating enough. I would go do my runs and I would not, Jackie, drink protein drinks or eat any protein after my runs, right? So my body started cannibalizing itself. And that's why, one of the reasons, there's probably more, that I just didn't have the stamina on stage. I didn't have the stamina when I did a big workout. And we're talking 15 years ago. I was a lot younger then than I am now. Through proper nutrition and proper food, I have, of course, now recovered from all of that. And you'll see me, I can do my 3-day $1 million speaker summit. And many of you were there live. And I am ready to go dancing at the end of the 3rd day. Amen?
Amen.
Who can contest to that? Right? Absolutely. And so it is so important for all of you to consider your food and your nutrition, your exercise, whatever it takes for you to keep up your energy, your vitality when you speak, because I tell you, it is like running a marathon. So I invited some of our community's experts on food and nutrition and exercise to talk to us today. And it's what I call the 3 J's, Jason, Jackie, and Jean. However, Jean won't be able to join us today because her husband plays the trumpet and he has a gig tonight that she found out. So we're going to do the 2 J's, and then I'm going to ask our foodies, which is Dr. Renee and Margaret, later for them to come in and step in and specifically talk about some high quality, organic, whatever it takes that we need for our bodies to stay energized, stamina, and you're full of vitality so that we can step on stage and be ready to go dancing when we're done. All right, so let's start with Jackie. Now, Jason, do you have to go or you're here? Okay, good. We'll start with some food and supplements first, and then we'll go to exercise, and then we'll go to the healthy food and preparing. But first, time out a second. I will say hi to Luana. Hi to Ardina. Your hair is cute, Ardina. Looks like you curled it. Hi to Beth, right? And I said hi to all the rest of you. Okay. Excellent. Now, tomorrow, when you come to Limitless Success Summit, make sure you're bringing your paddles, that they're nearby, because that's the only way we can show everybody who's in our community. Got it? So make sure they're handy. Don't have them across the room.
Got it.
All right. Excellent. All right. So let's start with Jackie. You're muted. And all we're having here is a conversation. I told them all, no prepared speeches. I don't stress it. We're having a group conversation, and I just kicked it off. So go ahead, Jackie.
Well, I know how much you like acronyms, so I came up with an acronym for the word health. And I'll show you the PowerPoint for it later, but I'll just talk about it now.
Okay, you can talk about it now.
And the H stands for healthy weight. I'm amazed at the number of people. I just read something about the average weight gain during COVID was 1.5 pounds a month. And then my math isn't that good, but that would be like horrific.
No, let's find out what it is. CJ, what is that? 1.5 per month times what? It was a year and 3 months or a year and 4 months? What is that?
I've got 18 pounds.
18, thank you. 18. That is a lot. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and the article I read said that many people were looking at up to 25-pound weight gain. So I'm working with a lady right now who is 40 pounds overweight, and she also has osteoarthritis. Now she does do speaking, which is kind of amazing, and she speaks to caregivers all the time. She's able to do that through Zoom, but in about 10 days, she lost 10 pounds or 8 pounds, which was a lot for one time, but she just really buckled down. And now she doesn't have pain in the joints that were aching because of her poor eating. She also had a lot of health inflammation. So a healthy weight is just really important. And, everybody kind of knows what that is for them. I'm not going to do that. Easy way to measure that, and Jason will probably cover this, is just check a chart that does your BMI. That's your body mass index. And it has a little thing on one side where it gives your height, and a little thing here that gives your weight. And then you just look at it and you see if you're in an ideal weight, or if you're obese, or if you're overweight, or if you're obese. Now, if you're muscle bound like Jason and you have all this great muscle, a BMI is not so accurate for you, because of course muscle weighs more than fat, and it's not real accurate for people who have really done a lot of working out. So maintain a healthy weight, whatever that is for you, because it's going to give you more energy. When you're carrying extra pounds around, it depletes your energy. So that's the H, healthy weight. And then the E is eating. And Margaret can talk about that better than me. Arvee can talk about it. And you just need to find something that works for you. The more fruits and vegetables, the best. And you've all heard me say many times, 2 of every color every day. And that would be a total of 10 fruits and vegetables a day. Makes you regular, and it makes you healthy. Now, people will always say to me, well, I'm not going to feel better right away. And it's got, no, not necessarily. It took you a while to get to where you are. And it's going to take you a while to get out of where you are. So H, healthy weight; E, eating wisely.
Okay, so I just want to have kind of a conversation about this. So, and anybody, if you hear something, pitch in, chime in. But to me, when you say, it's eating, let's say, and 2 fruits and vegetables and all of that. Now, I mean, and we are going to talk about eating, but tell us a little bit more about taking supplements, because we don't always get every nutrition in our food, especially if we're not eating organic, and especially if we're kind of eating on the go. So how important are supplements, Jackie?
That's my T in health. Take supplements. My hands are not wide enough for my screen here, but when I was a kid growing up in the late 50s and early 60s, the topsoil was 21 inches. Now it is 7 inches deep. Where do plants get their nutrients? From the soil. When we don't have the deep soil that we used to have, even if you're eating organic, my mother was able to make me more nutritious meals using the same ingredients than I can make for my grandson today, just because there are not as much nutrients in food. So there's lots of different ways you can find out about supplements, lots of different people. I'd say go to a professional, somebody that knows what they're doing, because the supplement market is crazy. There's all kinds of people making all kinds of claims. And basically, if it tells you it's going to heal you, stay away from it, because it probably won't. Supplements are just that. Okay. They supplement.
So it's real, right. Thank you. So supplements are important, but that doesn't mean that you can eat that muffin or that bagel in the morning and say, okay, I can make it up in supplements, right, Jackie? So we still have to eat our fruits and vegetables. Not all supplements are created equal, right, Jackie? Like you said. So what I did is I went to a nutritionist, not a nutritionist. What are they called?
Integrated medicine?
Something like that, but naturopath, right? And I got tested. There's different kind of tests out there. The test I did was a Zyto test, where they put your hand on a computerized whatever, and then they tell you exactly the supplements that you need. Well, over the years, when I first went there years ago, I think I went somewhere else 15 years ago. Anyway, if you keep going and keep doing it, now my organs that are stressed are not as many as it used to be. Does that make sense? It's a continuous thing. So Jackie, tell us a little bit, because you said this briefly, but you said it takes a while, to get out of it once you go in it. However, I think it's a lot quicker recovery than it takes people to get in it. In other words, it might have taken them 20 years to get there, but it's not going to take 20 years to heal and get better. Talk a little bit about that, healing with food and supplements.
Well, the body is a miraculous thing. It can just take care of you when you take care of it. And, if you had a racehorse and somebody entrusted you with this $1 million racehorse, you wouldn't keep it up all night long feeding it caffeine and junk food. But the racehorse can get better too, as long as it's fed good nutrition. And a lot of people do think that, oh, well, yeah, I can eat this whatever bad thing and then just supplement. Supplements are to supplement. They're not to replace. That's a really important distinction. And, people notice when they start taking the right supplements, they do notice an energy improvement pretty quickly. I usually tell people at least 30 days. 60
Right.
probably will really help, but your body's got to get used to this new you, and that takes just a little bit of time. Just like the lady I talked about, where she's having some intestinal issues right now, and I said that's because you just put your body into deep shock, and your body's trying to figure out what's going on here. But it's going to calm down. Just calm down, and it'll calm down. It's all going to work. You just have to deal with it for a little while. It's not a quick fix.
Right. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the supplements that we should have, whether we get them from a nutritionist or mine, a naturopath, or you. What do we look for in better supplements? In other words, I don't know if people should be going to Costco for supplements, but I don't study supplements. But maybe something is better than nothing. But tell us about, what do we look for in a supplement? How do we know it's good or garbage? So, and then what supplements, like if we said, I don't like to take pills, but you said, okay, you don't like to take pills, but minimum, you have to take this. What would that be? So it's a 2-part question.
Okay, that was a lot. So if I forget something, give it back to me. Even the American Medical Association, which has been kind of anti-supplement for lots of years, says that everyone should take a multi-mineral, multivitamin daily, some sort of a daily, to substitute for what we don't get daily. And then there are all sorts of different things about what else we should take. And blood work, a naturopath can do that for you. Your regular MD can do a really complicated blood work test, and they can test levels of vitamin D in your body. Many people have a vitamin D deficiency. Especially people who have darker skin, because we get vitamin D from the sun and then vitamin D fortified products. So if you're a dark skinned person who never has any milk products, you're a prime candidate for needing extra vitamin D. The lighter the skin, the more the skin absorbs, and the less you have to be worried about vitamin D. That's just a little kind of funny kind of thing.
We love it.
About skin tones. So how do you tell? Oh, and then I recommend CoQ10, which is coenzyme 10, for people over 50. And for extra immunity, vitamins A and C. When you get a cold, best thing to do is to grab some echinacea and vitamin C and just pound it. And you can knock that sniffle right out of you in a couple of days just by doing that. How do you tell a good supplement? It should be produced by GMP, good manufacturing practices. And it should say that. And it should also be tested by an independent source. Somebody besides One A Day is telling you that this supplement is good for you. Some independent organization. There's no regulation in the vitamin industry, which is scary. And there's a lawsuit in the state of New York right now against 4 major vitamin companies for them not having in them what they say they have in them. And that could either be too much of something or too little of something. The only thing they're regulated for is if they're harmful. And that's a little scary. And you don't know where they're made. So going back to your story about Costco, I always joke and say, well, why would you want to pay something for your wellness when the first thing that you do when you walk in the door is smell their pizza cooking?
Costco, yeah. Okay. So thank you, Jackie. So let's go over to exercising. Let's go to exercising. So, Jason, tell us a little about how important it is to move our bodies.
Wow. Good afternoon. It's really great to be a part of the family today, as any other week, to cover this topic. Before I share a little bit, I just want to piggyback on what Jackie was saying, because that was some really valuable information. One of the things that she shared is you don't know where they're made as far as supplements. One thing, 3 points I would care to share with supplementation. There are certain companies that will give you guided tours of their facilities, of letting you know how the products are made. This was one of my advantages and experiences being an Amway distributor at one time, where in the Buena Park area, their Nutrilite line, where the headquarters of their Nutrilite line, you can actually go through a plant. I was actually also to one of their plants out in Lakeview, where they showed you the products are being made. So certain companies have open information either online or in person, but if the more you can get it on person and see how the products are made, the confidence, that will boost your confidence. The other two things that you can check for with supplements is, one, by smell, and two, by solubility. What I mean by solubility is how fast do they dissolve in a glass of water. Most of the time, if you take a capsule like Centrum or a capsule like an Amway multivitamin, you could see in a glass of water how fast those pills dissolve. If they reasonably dissolve within like less than 10 minutes completely, that is good. That vitamin is typically good, because then that lets you know how well it gets absorbed in the system. And the small intestines are the location where those vitamins get absorbed in the system, and it goes in there fast. So those multivitamins have to dissolve quickly, because the small intestine is the first stop where all those nutrients get absorbed after they digest or get processed in the stomach. So that's what I wanted to share real quickly about that. But Jackie, thank you so much for that information. Totally insightful, and I'm looking to get that audio recording too for your book. Okay, so on to exercises. I only have basically 3 things that I wish to share, 3 major points to that. But I will first predicate that by this question. The biggest question that everyone gives me when it comes to exercising is either comes in this form. When will I get results by certain such and time, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, or when will I see results? And the answer to that question is, the results you get are the results that you create. So I necessarily do not give timelines to the answer to that question, because it's basically whatever you put in is the result that you get out. Namely, here's what I mean. If you miss sessions, i.e. affecting your commitment or your word, that will also compromise your success, power, and effectiveness of your creation. If you break the sets, if you do not complete your sets, that affects what I call completion. That will also compromise your results. And then lastly, if you discontinue to invest in yourself, namely that I have certain people that will buy a 10-session cycle. Well, that's only probably good for only 2.5 to 3 weeks, depending upon if they work out with me twice a week or 3 times a week. So I get as much as, if they only buy a 10-session cycle, it's typically good for 3 weeks, or you can go twice a week for 5 weeks. Within that continuum of time, you're not going to lose 15 or 20 pounds or 2 inches. It's definitely a long-term investment. So my biggest question when I ask a client in enrollment, when it comes to their enrollment, is how much are you willing to invest in both time and money to attain your fitness objectives? So with that said, you know, the results you get are the results that you create. Now, there's 3 important key factors to getting good results out of that when you exercise. One is, do not use too much weight. If you use the typical pattern that most people practice when they go to the gym, is they're using way too much weight to try to generate muscle. This has an effect in 2 ways. One, you have an over recruitment of muscles. If you're trying to do a bicep curl, but you use a 30-pound weight when your arms are only capable of using 15 pounds, then you start recruiting your shoulders, your back, and other areas connected to that bicep that don't have anything to do with the bicep curl. This will take you also out of posture as well, which is the second thing when you use too much weight. So that's one of the biggest mistakes. Do not use too much weight. You want it's the quality of your movement. Second point is that there's no dimension to the muscle, meaning that a typical example is that people use the treadmill way too often. If you're constantly running to burn calories, which is good, you also can wear out your knees a lot quicker because you are running forward all the time. One of the things I recommend or I share with people on a treadmill is by jogging backwards. And I show them on the treadmill of how you create movement going sideways. So this way you work the inside part of your thighs, the outside part of your hips, and the back part of your legs that are called the hamstrings or your glutes as well. And then when you can also balance that out by running forward. So that's what I mean by dimension. You have to have good coverage of your muscles. A typical rule of thumb to remember is if you do like a bicep curl, always work the opposite body part that you just started with. So if you work a bicep curl, go to a machine that works the tricep. So this is a tricep here, and this is a bicep here. So notice that's top and bottom. If you do, you can do chest and back. You can do a quad or hamstring, that kind of thing. That's kind of dimension or coverage that I'm talking about. And that's something I also share.
Okay, so before you continue, so let's just talk a little bit about, again, vitality for a speaker. All right. Most of these speakers are not going to be trying to get buff or any of that. So again, what would be a good exercise really just to keep our vitality up when we're on stage? It might be running, it might be the elliptical. So what do you recommend for speakers specifically to keep their energy up and their vitality up and their movement flexible?
I'll give you the one solid tool, and that is a weighted jump rope. Jump roping is I won't say it's the new thing, it is more so revolutionized, meaning that the jump rope, when you look at the mechanics of jump roping, it incorporates all of your body's mechanics at the same time. Only recently, nowadays, has the jump rope been perfected. They've now created what are called weighted jump ropes. They weighted. They range from anywhere between a quarter pound to 4 pounds.
Wow.
And so, but when you do jump roping works your legs, core, shoulders, wrists, and also in that terms of that metabolism, that really, the jumping action really gives you a kick for your mind as well as your body. So if there's one thing, it's the jump rope.
And it's good for digestion because you're bouncing up and down, right?
Typically, yeah. Metabolically, yes, you also get it's a high intense workout. And the best part about jump roping is you feel like a little kid. If you take yourself back to those days when you're 8 years old and skip roping, it's just like that. You can start out with a slow rhythm and work your way up high.
All right. So for most of the speakers here in this room, and what weight would you recommend we start with? Because I have a jump rope, but it's not weighted. So I want to go to Amazon right now and get a weighted one. How many of you want to get a weighted one? That's like magic, right?
Yeah.
What weight would we start with? Do you look around the room and just kind of tell us in general?
So I'll give you a website. It's called, or Google crossrope.com. That's one word. Crossrope, CROSS rope.com. Thank you, CJ.
Yeah, thank you, CJ.
And they have a variety of packages and weight size. They have two of them. One is called lean and the other is called strong. And basically the difference is the amount of weighted rope that is available in those packages, but you can buy one or several.
So so we buy lean, or what do you mean packages?
So, okay, well, basically, here's what I would recommend. I would start out with buying what is called a lean package.
Lean package.
And it's basically a 1/4 pound rope and a 1/2 pound rope.
Okay.
And they come in various sizes too. There is small, medium, large, and extra large. And the way that they are calibrated is just know your height. And they basically have a gauge or scale that lets you know based on your height, what size rope you get. So anyone under 5'3" gets a small.
Oh, that's Beth and I.
Sorry.
That's Beth and I. And I think Benita too, right? Benita, you're not that tall, are you? Margaret, is that you? Who's under 5? Who's about 5'2"? Jackie?
I'm 5'8".
5'8". I thought you were taller. All right. That is gold, Jason. That is gold. Where'd you go? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That is gold. That is gold. All right. So how much jumping rope should we do per day or per week? Again, as a speaker, to stay, flexible and moving and energized.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a page out of your book, Arvee, and that is if you have a because staying in shape for your voice is similar to staying in shape with your body. They work hand in hand. So I almost would say, like, if you do 10 minutes of rehearsal before your speech, or let's say, let me do this. We said 1 hour for every 2 minutes.
Right.
So we do a minimum of 15 minutes or
Per
2.5
day?
hours. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Per
Yeah,
day,
15 minutes a day.
but not right before we speak.
Not right before you speak.
Okay, because then we'd be sweaty and that wouldn't be.
Yes, of course. Then you wouldn't be, you'd be in a whole different state after that. But it's really getting amped up, getting those muscles just jarred loose and everything. I would say a 15 to 30 minutes per day is awesome.
Perfect. Beautiful. That's good. Let's move to food. But also, Jackie, I want you to put in a link for supplements. If you're not sure where, if you go, maybe you're one of those that you bought that big thing at Costco, throw it away, right? And go and buy Jackie's products because she's done her research on them, or go see a nutritionalist, or go see, a chiropractor. They have good supplements usually too. I look for supplements without, and Jackie, help me out because I'm not going to say it right, that magnesium stearate. Because there's vitamins that have that, and that's just an additive you don't need. And the ones I get from my nutritionalist, it doesn't have that. So look at your vitamins. See, I don't know, Jackie. I hope I didn't.
No,
Yours
that's
don't
fine.
have-
No,
Okay.
no, that's
So
no,
go ahead
that's
and put in a link for yours
Okay.
in case somebody says, you know what, I trust you, Jackie. I know you. And again, if I didn't have this other source, I would be jumping on yours as well, because Jackie's done the research. Look at Jackie. I'm not going to say how old she is. I went to one of her birthday parties.
and that was 3 years ago. No,
Was it that long?
2 years ago. No, 2 years ago. 2 years
2
ago.
years ago. And she's still running. I hung up my shoes, but she is still running today. I mean, so her food regime, her vitamins and supplement routine works. All right. And then Jason, I love those tips about the exercise. Again, that's what we need. I'm going to buy that rope. Thank you, CJ, for putting it in the chat. How many of you are going to go buy that rope? Right? Yeah. Me too. All right. Now let's talk about food. Now we have 2 chefs in the room, and I don't know how they differ, but we're going to find out. So we're going to go, right? We're going to go to Chef Renee, and then we're going to go to Chef Margaret. So what I'm interested in, again, as it relates to a speaker, right? As it relates to pure energy and vitality. Now, some of it is going to be anti-aging because speakers, we need that. So if you have anything like I heard Dr. Perricone say, eat cantaloupe, right? Anti-aging, eat cantaloupe. So if you have any of those tips for speakers, because we all need that, I want to hear them. So let's just take about 5 minutes or so each. So Dr. Renee.
Okay, Arvee, everybody have a pen and paper. I'm going to go really fast because
We're ready.
Arvee said
I'm ready and I'm prepared and I'm fired up and ready to go.
Right.
Okay, so
Now,
here we
okay,
go.
wait, before
I'm
you
good.
start,
It's
let me get my
okay.
tip. Before you start, Renee, I didn't prepare her. She's jumping up. Margaret, she's jumping to the occasion as a speaker. So let's acknowledge that.
All right.
go
So
ahead,
thank you
Dr.
so much, Arvee. So everyone have a pen and paper. I'm going to go real quick. We're all speakers. It's geared towards you and your success on stage. And so you can share your information with clients and make changes in their lives and more money in your pocketbook. So here we go. What I do 2 weeks before I have an event, whether I'm going on a cruise or speaking at a university or blah, blah, blah. And before this is pre-COVID, I want to make sure I'm not bloated. So I do a 2-week cleanse before, especially the week before. That means no mashed potatoes, no ramen, no pho noodles, all my favorites, no mac and cheese, a lot of vegetables. I love all that. No martinis, no steak. And I love all that. And no chocolate. So, but afterwards, I'll have a little bit of chocolate after my speech. Here we go. So you want to stay as lean and mean as you possibly can. If you are a little bit hungry when you go on stage, that's good, but make sure you have a little bit of something, a protein, so your stomach is not gurgling. They don't hear it on the microphone. So no carbs before the event. The other thing, if you can juice vegetables and fruits, that would be great. Ask Jackie, she'll tell you what kind of vegetables to do. I have a routine that I do at least 12 to 14 to 16 vegetables a day. So I do the dark greens, a lot of kale, and all my vegetables are washed in the alkaline water machine. I wash with acidic water and I drink 9.5 pH alkaline water a day, 1.5 gallons of water per day. I bring water with me to the event. The other thing, I'm agreeing with Jason, a little bit of weights. I do 5-pound weights daily. I do this way and then that way. I don't know what the tricep, bicep, but so that because when the ladies wear sleeveless dresses, especially now, we don't want to have like any of the wobbly things. So I do that consistently. I do that twice a day. I do it in the morning and at night after my morning prayer intentions.
So let's talk for you. Let's talk about food, Dr. Renee.
Okay. So no sodas.
Food.
Right. No sodas. The other thing is before an event, no garlic, no onions, no beans. If you eat beans and you're going on stage, that's not good. So that's okay. The other thing is lots of water, toothbrush at the event, eat with a fork when you're ordering food if you're going to be doing a speech after the lunch, don't order a sandwich or a hamburger because you have to use your fingers. Get a salad or eat with a fork. And then bring flat shoes to the event and don't wear heels. Wear heels on stage. So regarding food, Arvee, the thing I suggest is especially the detox before you get on stage, before the event. Be prepared, and if you're going to be doing a 3-day event and you don't want to miss out, have food ready in your refrigerator so you don't have to miss out on your 3-day event. This is when we're doing the Zoom calls.
Okay.
And okay, so that's just one of I have a whole bunch of others to do with food. The other thing is just make sure your food is really clean and it's already pre-washed before you put it away so that you don't have to mess with it during the week. So it'll save you time so you can focus on making calls to your clients and rehearsing your speech. I do that a lot, especially with the vegetables and fruits that everything I have because I have a juicer. And also with your meats, try to avoid a steak or meat if you possibly can. Maybe once a week, maybe some lamb or filet. But during the week, I recommend a fish and then chicken. And avoid eating greasy foods like fried chicken and French fries or waffles and chicken with gravy, which I love that too. Or waffles with syrup because it makes you sleepy.
Okay. So just in recap, it sounds like, again, to stay vitalized on stage, Dr. Renee's recommending if you have a big event, you might want to cleanse especially if you haven't eaten properly. And I always do that before my live events as I do a 10-day master cleanse, which is the lemon juice, the
cayenne pepper,
right. That kind of cleanse. And now I didn't do it when I did my virtual event because I didn't have to. I wasn't going on stage.
Oh, the Arvee, the other thing I want to share is always moisturize your face in the morning and at night. So you have nice supple skin because makeup goes into the creases of our skin. So if we don't moisturize, it'll be like leather. and
Right.
we're on stage, on camera, or on a real stage. So it's very helpful.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so getting just back to the food, the cleanse is a good idea. Again, if you eat clean, I feel like if you eat clean, which is a lot of vegetables, like Jackie's saying, how many vegetables a day? 10 fruits and vegetables, all different colors a day. That to me is clean eating. If you eat clean grass-fed meat, which I don't always because it's hard to get. Michael and I are going on our vegetarian bout right now. We go back and forth. We do it for a while and then but I think it's going to be good for his heart because everything I read is that meat is harmful to the heart. I don't know, Jackie's nodding her head. So we're going to try that, see if that maybe improves his health a little bit and stamina. But let's talk about the food itself. And I want to call her Margaret because Margaret also is a chef. We're fortunate to have two chefs with us. So Margaret, again, when it comes to the type of food, which food will give speakers the most energy?
Thank you, Arvee, and I'm happy to be here. One of my favorite quotes is from Michael Pollan, who said, "Eat food, not too much, mostly plants." And when he says eat food, he means eat real food, things that you recognize, not something that comes in a box with 50 ingredients you can't pronounce and you have no idea what they are. We have a 70% obesity rate, people who are obese and overweight in this country. It's a tragedy. And it's all because a lot of people are eating processed foods, things that come in boxes, sodas, juice is more sugar and no fiber than a soda. I mean, so stay away from that stuff. And sugar is really killing people's health. It's killing people. It's producing metabolic syndrome. So as far as what do we do as speakers? I think it's important for everybody to know what works for you, because what works for me doesn't work for everybody else. I'm a singer, and right before COVID hit, I grew up in Switzerland. We have the most fabulous cheeses, like France, and I mean, every region has a different cheese. But I was always clearing my throat. I always had phlegm. And I decided just as an experiment right before COVID hit, what would happen if I stopped eating dairy, stopped eating cheese, and stopped eating yogurt? And guess what? It went away. The throat clearing went away. My skin got better. And I think it's important for every person to know what works for you, what gives you energy. I remember seeing a program, an interview with opera singers, and they were asked, how do you prepare for a performance? I mean, singing on stage is a very physically demanding activity. And I know in some concerts, I would just have sweat running down my body. And so some of the people said, oh, they gave pointers about how they talk, how they eat, and how they prepare. And one of the men said, I just go out and have a great big meal. And that worked for him. But that does not work for everybody else. And I agree with what Dr. Renee said about, you don't want to be hungry when you go on the stage, and you want to have something in your stomach. But you don't want to have just eaten and maybe eat things that, produce belching or whatever. And to eat real food, to eat organically grown, lots of fiber, because that will just keep you in good shape.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let's give them all a big hand, and then I'm going to open it up for questions at the time we have left. So thank you. Thank you, Dr. Renee. That is worth millions, millions. All right. Now, I know it's just a glimpse. So we talked a little bit about exercise, a little bit about food, a little bit about cleansing, a little about supplements. And, and it is up to you. But the point being, what I want to just kind of summarize it for everyone. And I believe in eating right before I speak myself. So, but it depends on what you eat. Because I think if you're in a live event and you're having lunch and you're going to be the speaker, it is critical. And you'll hear me say this over and over and over and over and over, right, CJ? For you to bond with the people at your table, because I guarantee you, those are the first people that are going to buy. But if you go away and you don't eat and you don't socialize and you're preparing at the last minute, you're going to lose thousands of dollars right there at the table. If you act like a prissy, that's the only word I can think of it, and not eat, right? That sends a message. So eat a little bit, push it around on your plate if you have to, right? Now, me, I can eat a whole meal. It doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me, because it's me, just like Margaret said, I'm, and I don't like to say I am, but I have been told that what is it called? Where your blood sugar drops?
Hypoglycemic.
So for me, I have to eat. And if I want to last clear through an event or clear through something, I have to make sure I have a lot in my stomach. But I make sure what it is. It's vegetables, mostly. Little tiny bit maybe of meat, and a little bit maybe potato if it's there, because I just love potatoes. But but I don't like eat a big steak, or I don't try not to eat, and never pasta, never cheese, never those heavy things. So that's me. Find out what it is for you. Maybe you need to eat. But if you can't eat, some people have very sensitive tummies and they get nervous and they can't eat. Please pretend like you're eating for the sake of the people at your table. All right? I've even cleansed when I had to do a speaking engagement, right? And again, I still had the hypoglycemic, but I had to take my Master Cleanse lemon drink and make sure I guzzled it right before I went on stage, right? So pay attention to your body and keep it maintained. Now, let's start with Jackie for a minute, because I think supplements, for me, one of the things I did that when my body was eating itself, I didn't just say, okay, I'll eat more chicken. No, for a while, this gal had me drinking egg yolks, right? Every morning I had to drink a couple of egg yolks. I felt like Rocky. I had to drink protein drinks and eat a bunch of meat, right? Because I had to compensate. Then I could ease up. I don't do that now. And now I've been going back and forth to be a vegetarian. And I haven't had that same problem. And part of the reason I believe is because I've been taking supplements and I didn't used to. And I take adrenals, I take thyroid supplements, everything that when you get older, just like CQ10, I take that. I take multi, I take minerals, I take, calcium, vitamin C. You should see my cupboard. I mean, it's like I have to take 50 or 60 things a day. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I do through my own testing. But perhaps the better solution is for you to go and find out for yourself what it is your body needs so that you can get the right food, supplements, and exercise. Because maybe you don't want to be buff, right? But it's stamina that you need as a speaker. I love the jump rope idea. I went online. They're $99, ladies and gentlemen. They're $99, but I'm sure they're well worth it. All right. So, and Dr. Renee, big aha right there. And that is cleanse. As a speaker, you probably, as a person, as a human being, we probably need to cleanse a couple times a year, right? 5-day cleanse, 10-day cleanse. There are fruit cleanses. There are juices. So if you're a person where you have to eat and you cannot just go without food, like the lemon cleanse is like, right? Brutal. It can be brutal. then look up at some of these cleanses. You know, there are all kinds of smoothie cleanses. I've had smoothie cleanses before. There's salad cleanses. There's eating. Do you know there's like a 3-day, a keto? It's not a cleanse, I don't think. There's a 3-day eat egg diet where you can lose a lot of weight just by eating nothing but eggs for 3 days. I don't know what that does to your body, but it's a keto thing, but there's all kinds of crazy things out there. So I love that idea. Love the cleanse. And then
RV, can I make a suggestion to the group? Is take a blood test, like you just said, with your naturopathic doctor or nutritionist. Have a blood test so that they'll know, or you'll know, what type of food to eat or avoid, or what you need or what you're lacking, so that when you take that, when you do your cleanse, you're not hurting your body. And when you order all your supplements from Jackie, you'll know what to get. Just a suggestion. So
right. Yeah. I recommend no matter what you do, you get tested, whether it's a blood test or like my naturopath does a Zyto test. Go and find out. You're probably not going to find this stuff at Kaiser. I'm going to tell you, I have Kaiser. They don't do any of that stuff, right? Not that I know of. And Michelle, aren't you a nurse? Michelle, let's hear from Michelle. Okay, Michelle, tell us, if we want to get healthy, we want to find out what's going on within our body, what is your recommendation?
All of the above. Everything that everybody said, I think is fantastic. And the big thing that they really talk about right now, and especially with COVID, was vitamin D. So Jackie, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because we slather sunscreen on our bodies, or we don't go outside. And the only way we get natural vitamin D is from the sun or our supplements. That's the only way you can get it. And so one of the things we are finding is, for our immune system to be working properly, we need vitamin D, and a lot of people are lacking that. Now, vitamin D is a fat soluble, so that means it's stored in your fat in your body. So you can get too much of it. So you really should be working with your doctor to make sure that you don't get too much of the vitamin C. Vitamin D. So that's just really important. Vitamin C is water soluble, so you'll just pee it out if you have too much vitamin C. But it's just really important to understand what vitamins and supplements that you're taking, and how it affects your body. Zinc is another thing that is really important, and that they found out that you need to to boost your immune system. And I'll give you a good example of that with COVID. I wasn't taking zinc. We got COVID, but I was doing my vitamin C, I was doing my vitamin D, I was doing all my supplements, but I wasn't really taking zinc. I lost my sense of smell. Not my taste, but my smell. And they say they attribute that to a zinc deficiency.
Gotcha.
So anyway, that really doesn't have anything to do with speaking per se.
Okay, it's all good. You should all be taking zinc right about now. All right, so we're going to go around the room real quick. So if you have any questions or any comments to say to these experts that we had here, these health experts, any last words you have to say as well. So let's start with Jackie, and we'll go around. So Jackie, any quick words? We've got a couple minutes.
I think I'm good. I'll pass.
All right, Jackie, thank you so much. So anybody have any questions for Jackie? Go ahead and ask her. All right, let's go around the room real quick. We'll get to you, Alice. Katerina, any comments or any questions for any of our experts?
No questions. Everything was great information. Thank you, everyone.
We packed in a lot in this hour, in this power hour. All right, Dr. Renee.
No, I'm good. Arvee, I just, what I gave was my experience as a speaker, and we're all getting paid to be a speaker, and we want to do the very, very best to give information to our audience who's just, are sponges. So I wanted to share I have a ton of tips, but it's just everything is around what you talk about, and it supports everything you share, everything you've taught us over the years. It's always supportive of everything you share.
Thank you. Yes. And again, we're talking about the body. It's the whole body. It's everything. You know, we have to have everything in tip-top shape. We just picked a little bit of how we can do that internally. We didn't even scratch the external, but how to do it internally today. All right, CJ.
Really great information. Really enjoyed the mastermind format from these guest experts, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Great. Michelle.
Yeah, I piggyback on CJ. I think that you guys gave us such great information, and we need to do all of it in order to be the best speaker we can be.
Amen. Alice.
Okay, so I'm a trained chef also. And you hearing me? And
Yes.
I do but I cook for family and friends.
Okay. I forgot you were a chef. I apologize.
I frequent farmers markets. And it's very important to support our farmers, and we get fresh, nutritious food. Now, there's also a website where we can get foods in season, fruit and vegetable in season. Asparagus isn't generally good in December. Carrots are good in the fall. So we need to know what's available now in season. It's very nutritious and it's very fresh. And sweet potatoes, my bird.
I was going to say, is that some kid? Got it.
Bird. She's speaking with me. But so that's it. That's all I have to say, that it's very important to eat foods in season.
Food in season. Do you have a website for somebody to go to, a recommendation?
Website, you can just look for seasonal produce guide, or I have one here, which is snapped, snapd.fns.usda.gov.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Jackie, the note you sent to Jason went to me, just so you know. Just so you don't think he's not answering you.
No, I realized that and I sent him one.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alice. Perfect. If you'll put that in, or CJ, if you'll put that in so we can all benefit, that'd be great. All right, Jason, any last words?
Yeah, I just wanted to extend an offer. If you text me at my phone number 310-779-4083, I'd be more than happy to send 3 book recommendations. One book will be about Eat Right for Your Blood Type, which really aligns with what Jackie and Dr. Renee was sharing. And then also I will give you my 2 recommendations for cleansing as well.
Oh, good.
At one point. So just text me and I'll give you all that information.
All right. And excellent. Why don't you just prepare to bring it all for everyone next week?
I sure will. I can do that.
I would like the 2 cleanses particularly. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, good. Anything but the lemon cleanse. I mean, that's the only one I really know how to do, and I usually have great success on that, but it is difficult just to have syrup and lemon juice. All right, Margaret.
Speaking of lemon cleanse, one of the things I do every morning is I drink a tall glass of warm water with lemon juice and Celtic sea salt, a little bit of and it sort of polishes out your liver a bit. It works for me.
I've heard that.
But Jason, I have a question for you. I jump rope. I have a leather, one of those leather ropes with the ball bearings in the handles. It's not a weighted one, but is that, you were talking about knees, getting worn out. So the jumping rope is not a way to goose your knees too much.
Well, I wouldn't do it on cement. Jason, talk to us about that. So does the jump rope hurt the knees? Should we be jumping rope on tile floors, on cement, on grass? Talk to us.
Yeah, I recommend that if you have an exercise mat, jumping on some rubber would be more preferable as opposed to cement. And that's even something that is offered on the Crossrope site, that they do have jump rope mats But you can always pick up some rubber mats at like Marshall's or something like that to jump rope softly on. Yes, that's definitely recommended.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. All right, Ardina.
Wow, this is so good information. I woke up yesterday, I was so tired. I'm like, I gotta do something. So this is good. And I had the same question for Jason about the knees too. So in addition to what Margaret was saying, if you already are having some pain in your knees, is it still good to maybe just do a little bit and build up, or do something else?
I never am an advocate of someone going 0 to 60 with a jump rope. You have to start where you're starting out with, and definitely it's important to mention about knee injuries or situations with your knees. I would start out really slow, maybe like a slow skip or something like that. But anytime if you're feeling anything out of the ordinary with your knees, you have to resort to a different pattern of movement. There are other ways of creating jumping effects if the rope is not effective.
Right.
The other thing too, Ardina, really quick, I'll cut in, is if you do more plant-based, you'll avoid the inflammation if you're eating red meat or any sodas at all like that. The less white stuff you eat, noodles, rice, potatoes, you'll lower your inflammation. So it'll be easier on your knees. So your knees will have more cushion. And then I'm sure that Jackie has something that's called something that's cushiony for your knees. It's a supplement. I forgot what it's called. It's a long word, but I'm sure Jackie has it. But that'll help your knees a lot.
Glucosamine.
Yeah, that one.
Glucondroitin.
Oh,
That
okay.
one,
Okay.
Ardina. So that might help. Okay, thanks.
Thank
Quick
you.
question,
Thank you.
if I could. Jason, is a rebounder, in other words, a little trampoline, also good for the same kind of exercise?
Yeah.
Bar none, that actually, Ardina, would be recommended.
Yeah.
I currently have 3 clients on a trampoline. I actually had invested in a portable trampoline myself in the event that people who were not comfortable with using a jump rope or we were on a cement surface, the trampoline is your other best bet. So you could feel, like I said, I just shared with you, there are other ways to work with that. Trampoline is one of them. So if that, go for what you know on that. That's a big help right there.
Yeah.
It's helped out many of my clients.
Absolutely. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, CJ.
I have one of those. I don't have to get the rope now. All right, let's go to Lawana.
Lots of good information, but I think the only thing I'm going for is the jump rope.
Yeah, going for the
But
rope.
anything in me. So if you think I might have COVID, don't come around me because I'm not taking the shot.
Amen, sister. Your hair looks cute today.
Thank you. It only cost a few dollars too.
It looks adorable. Both you and Ardina have great hair today. All right, let's go to Joy. Benita. Hello, Earth to Benita. Hello, are you ready to take off? Benita, can you hear me?
She may not be able to speak right now.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
One of my favorite go-tos is a Kind bar. It's 5 grams of sugar and it's got nuts, and there's 3 kinds. So if I want something that's low sugar but a quick snack, and mine is carrots. I love carrots. Oh, especially on a bad hair day.
Very cute. All right. Now,
And I've been working on my photos and videos. So
yes, we know. We see them on Facebook. If you haven't seen Benita's pictures and stuff, she just had a big photo shoot. Go to Facebook and look her up. All right, let's go to Cheryl, and then we're going to break it down for today. Cheryl.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. All that is such vital information. And Arvee, you have such a vision for what's in the best interest of your speakers. And I am so grateful that I joined this family. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. And And Cheryl is the Facebook Live queen. She's been doing Facebook Lives every day. If you haven't seen them, go to Facebook and see them. All right. So, Jackie, before we go, and I'm going to let you go in 2 seconds, but Jackie also has shared one of the first people I've heard this from. And what is that? The dirty something and the clean something, dirty 15 and the clean 8, or
The dirty dozen and the clean 15. The dirty dozen are the things that you should always try to eat organic. Strawberries are one. Basically, this is to do with pesticides, and those are the things that absorb pesticides the most. And then the clean 15 are those things that you just really don't ever have to worry about eating organic, like a banana. That's got such a thick peel, it's nothing's going to penetrate that.
avocados,
Yes.
peas, mushrooms, ooh, honeydew. Anyway, go on the website that I think Katarina put in there, and it's in there. So go to that website. All right. So I personally want to thank Jackie and Dr. Renee and Margaret and Alice and Michelle and Jason for all of your knowledge. Let's take this to heart as speakers. Do what you need to do. It's not like, oh, that was nice. I want you to take some action. So go get tested, get a blood test, go find a nutritionalist in your area, go find a naturopath in your area, go to the store and buy some vitamin D if you need. Take some action, just a little bit, maybe a little step. You don't have to do an overhaul, but do a little step, because every step will bring you closer to more vitality on stage. And the more vitality you have, the more money you make and the more impact you make. Amen.
Amen.
So we'll see you all tomorrow. Yes, millions. We'll see you all tomorrow at the Limitless Success Summit. Come in early. Come in like 8:15 or 9:15, I mean, and we'll be there. CJ is going to be the DJ. He is going to be rocking and rolling. I wouldn't do an event without CJ. So he's going to be with us. Dr. Renee is going to be speaking. Make sure that you catch her and her husband. And of course, CJ. This is CJ's big debut on the big stage. So let's all go out and support our speakers. Yay, yay. All right. So again, I love all of you. Mwah.
I just wanted to share in real closing. Thank you for Cheryl, Lawana, and Ardina. Thank you for the vitality in your curls to this stage today. Those are
Thank
gorgeous
you for
bringing
curls.
vitality to this
Yeah.
stage, ladies. Really awesome. So thank you.
That's
That
right.
is cool.
Cheryl has the curls too. I love it. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.